Can you make money on Kindle publishing books? We're going to talk about that in today's video, so stay tuned. This is Self-Publishing with Dale, where you'll learn to publish books that sell and build an unstoppable author brand. Can you make money publishing on Kindle publishing books anyway? I definitely would love to hear your candid thoughts down below, and now we're going to dissect exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to Kindle publishing. What is Kindle publishing? Let's not be confused. We hear Kindle publishing and then we hear Kindle Direct Publishing, the platform. Let's make sure that we kind of differentiate the two. Yes, they're both interrelated, but what people are referring to specifically is just publishing Kindle ebooks. This particular phrase actually came about right about the ebook explosion a handful of years ago. And it's really, there's so many people that have been cited as the sources, a lot of these self-publishing experts and gurus from back in the day. But we can actually go back to when Kindle Direct Publishing first started in late 2007. The Kindle was the device that was relatively new to the market, and a lot of people were believing, well, gosh, this is a loss leader for Amazon. Why are they throwing so much money into this? They're losing a bunch. Well, you could see that they hedged their bets on this particular avenue and have won big when it comes to the Kindle ebooks. And those are the authors that took advantage of this platform back then, and the ones that are sticking around today are really making quite a good living at this. It was right about 2010 that we saw just the big boom in ebook sales, as well as seeing a profit coming from this particular area of Kindle publishing. And at this particular point, it had only been just a purchase of ebooks to where people could actually put it onto their Kindle device or they could read it on the go of some sort. There wasn't yet something in place that is in place now. It wasn't until late 2011 that the KDP Select program came into effect. And the KDP Select program is based like this. It's a lending program that people can put their ebooks into it to where people can borrow it as part of a membership of the Kindle Unlimited program or the Kindle Owners Lending Library. And as they flip through it, you get paid for this. Well, how the authors were paid was through a pool of money called the KDP Select Global Fund. This is essentially all of the memberships all added up from this lending program that would then be evenly dispersed to the people that were involved or enrolled in the KDP Select program. So if you weren't enrolled or aren't enrolled in the KDP Select program, then you won't see any of the earnings from the KDP Select Global Fund. Back then, the Global Select Fund actually started out at a mere, and I'm sorry to downgrade this, but it was at a mere $500,000. You fast forward to today, the monthly fund for the KDP Select Global Fund is about $27 million. I know it seems pretty awesome, right? Way different from back in 2011. So back then though, the KDP Select program worked like this. People would enroll in this particular membership, they would borrow your book, and if they read 10% of the book, you were paid a portion of the global profit. So regardless of the size of your book, if they read 10%, you got paid X amount of dollars. And if I can recall, it was about $1.35 to $1.50 per borrow. Well, you can see where this became somewhat imbalanced because there were some indie authors that were putting in gigantic novellas or novels of some sort, and if a person got through 10 pages, they weren't even scratching the surface as far as percentage-wise. Then you had these other authors and even some ne'er-do-wells that were putting up 10-page manuscripts, and one page was read, and they were getting paid the same as someone else who had had hundreds of pages read. So you could see there was a bit of an imbalance, and Amazon came back and they said, what do we need to do to resolve this situation? Oh, what if all pages were created equal? In other words, one page was equal to one page. So anytime someone flipped through the book, people would get paid per page flipped. And that would come from the KDP Global Select Fund. So this actually happened right about July of 2015 to where the current KENPC program is available, and that actually represents Kindle Edition Normalized Page Count. Pretty much saying that they're estimating a page for a page, so that way they're able to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. But there's a problem, folks. Kindle Publishing is inherently flawed, and in more regards than just one. The original theory back in the day, especially in the whole gold rush of right about 2010 to 2015, was you just would find a profitable niche or something that had low competition in it, but a high return, and you would just publish a book in that niche. It was the early days of Kindle publishing. You would shotgun out your books. You would publish and pray. You would spray and pray, if you will, and you would just shoot it on out, and you could literally just put out a book and profit hand and fist, regardless of it being ghostwritten or you wrote it yourself or anything else. Well, those days are gone, folks. You know, you can't just expect to just publish and pray for the best. You can't spray and pray. You can't just find that one niche, publish one book, and deuce out, because readers are becoming a little bit more discerning about what they're buying on the Amazon Marketplace or borrowing on the Amazon Marketplace for those in the KDP Select program. And here's the other issue when it comes to Kindle publishing, and I want to correct people on this, especially video content creators. They need to get this one right. Okay? Kindle publishing just addresses the electronic version of books. Kindle, folks. All right? We're talking about ebooks. What it does is you're just focusing on ebooks. You're forgetting two very viable and highly consumable areas, and they include print books. Print books take up the largest portion of the global publication profits. This means that more people are spending more money in the region of paperback or hardcover books. People like material possessions. They're willing to spend just a bit more money on those material possessions. Now, unit for unit, yes, ebook sales are far higher than that of print books, but people are making more money through print books. So if you're too busy saying Kindle publishing, you're forgetting that there's print available. Let's change the vernacular. Let's change the wording. It is either self-publishing or you can call it Kindle Direct Publishing, but either way, Kindle Publishing does not just involve talking about ebooks. We have print books that we need to involve in the conversation. Otherwise, you're leaving a lot of money on the table and you're ignoring a larger portion of the audience that may want your book in print altogether. And if you are talking Kindle publishing and you're just doing print books, then that's great. I'm glad you're diversifying your self-publishing portfolio, but you're missing one of the growing demands in downloadable audiobooks. There is a growing trend. People are listening to downloadable audiobooks. They want your content on the go. They want to be able to listen to it in transit to work or working out or while they're cooking. Either way, downloadable audiobooks are becoming all the thing. And if you aren't capitalizing on this, you are ignoring a large audience that wants your book and they want to listen to it rather than read it. So this is what is inherently wrong with talking about Kindle publishing. If you're just looking at publishing through ebooks, I'm not trying to shame you. I'm not trying to tell you that you're doing something wrong per se. I think it's great that you're publishing, but if you're not addressing the other two forms, you are ignoring that audience, and in turn, you're saying, I don't want additional revenue for my author brand. So can you make money publishing with Kindle publishing? The bigger question is, can't you make money anywhere? Can't you make money doing just about anything? My Lord, I've showed so many ways that you can make money, and heck, we haven't even talked about a 9-to-5 job. Let's be real. You can make money in just about anything. So can you make money? Absolutely. Can you lose money in Kindle publishing? Absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I know more people who've lost money and time and energy and a lot of heartache and hassle because they've gotten into this whole ebook publishing craze. You stand a lot to lose if you go into this one half-cocked. Ultimately, before you jump into this and you're wondering, can you make money in this? Yeah, you can make money in just about any place. What do you want? I'm being serious when I say this. What do you want? Is this of interest to you? Is this something that you're truly passionate about? Like you see this, you say, oh man, you get excited about things. You get it to where you get out of bed every day and you're going, I can't wait to do this. Yeah. But the greater question you have to ask yourself, can you stand to lose time, energy, and valuable resources like money? Don't put in what you aren't willing to lose. And let me repeat that for emphasis sake. It bears worth in repeating and saying this. Don't put in to this business what you cannot stand to lose, because the ratio of people who've succeeded to the people who've failed in this business is completely imbalanced. And I think you know which side it's weighing heavily in. But the good news is this, folks. Listen, it's not all doom and gloom. I believe that Kindle Direct Publishing is a good, viable platform if you really try to maximize the areas of monetizing your particular author brand and business. And furthermore, there actually is other more unconventional and some unorthodox ways that you can monetize your business. If you could just go over and take a look at this video about how to make money as a self-publisher, I'll meet you on over there.
Merch by Amazon is one of the other ways that you can monetize your author brand. I see a lot of authors leaving a lot of money on the table on this particular instance. I don't